the reason I made this film was to show my mother, most importantly, the most important person in my life, for her to be able to understand her child, and for her to be able to understand that the conflicts that she has within herself, that she's been trying so hard to resolve over the years.
Right.
uh, it's going to be a journey, the way my sexuality has been a journey, my gender identity has been a journey, and I understand that acceptance and love are both journeys too, and we often keep forgetting that. We often think of it as a destination, as a place to arrive at, but
Yeah.
it's not really that. These are journeys that we're all on, for the rest of our lives. And I feel Qorma is really about that journey. It's really about that journey, to be honest.
I love the interplay between the families. I love that you would share with me that that's such a personal story. I love it. For years before I came out, I was worried I would lose my mother. Um, and so there were ways that I would bisexual my way, through life in ways that tried to make my parents happy. You can't do that. Like, you have to stop. At
There
some
comes a,
point,
there comes a time you have to stop.
you have to become who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Very true.
And so the nuances in your film between the brother and his wife, the sister and her wife, the mother, the faith, the faith overlay, the cultural overlays, and like the exquisite beauty that you photographed this film with. Like, it's so rich and so lovely. And then the table is so nuanced, and all of these things are happening, and all of these ways are uncomfortable for everyone. And the overwhelming desire is love. Like, can we just get to love, right? Can it
I
just
mean, that's
be?
all we want. That's all we need,
Yeah.
And in fact, it's very interesting what you say about the opening scene, because it took me so much, it took so much life out of me to
Yeah.
be able to write that scene, Beth. Because I think it really is symbolic of so many things, so many unsaid things and so many unsaid emotions. I feel most of the time in most of our families, we often don't talk about things that we really need to talk about.
Right.
But we talk about everything else under the sun. We want to talk about this, we want to talk about that. But I'm like, when are we going to have important conversations?
Yes.
And that remains across cultures. It's not just an South Asian thing. I have seen this in America because I studied in the US. I dated a man who was American for 6 years of my life, and I have been to Christmas dinners, I have been to Thanksgiving dinners, and I have seen it. The silence as the turkey is being sliced. Oh my it used to blow my mind out. And I was like, that needs to be recreated. That really needs to be recreated. And I need to create it in a way that it connects people rather than dividing people, because I understand that when you see a a culture that you don't really belong to, that exoticism can happen. We can exoticize it. How to then keep it universal?
Yeah.
How to then keep it relevant to um, someone watching it in San Francisco, someone watching it in Melbourne, someone watching it in Syria, someone watching it in Dubai, someone watching it in India, because India itself is so multicultural, to be honest. The way we have our dinners is not exactly the way someone probably sitting in Delhi would be eating the dinner. How to then make it universal? And I feel that was the difficult thing,
It
to be
was
able
so
to.
beautifully done. And I want to say, I love that you are presencing every culture, that you have familiarity with, and every culture in the world. That sense that unites us all as human beings. I have a friend who said we live for the first 20 minutes, and then we don't want any. Then all we're doing is waiting for the plane.
Very true. Very true. Very true.
That dysfunction that just keeps generationally sort of fucking us all up. Like, how do we stop that?
Absolutely.
How
Yeah.
do we stop that? But your film stops that. That's
Yeah.
the like I really it I am thrilled you are winning all these awards around the world.
Thank you,
It,
Beth.
I love that you made the piece for your mother, for your life. Is that a fair characterization?
Not really, because in real life, my mother has not been able to accept me entirely, and it makes me very emotional, because every time I see the film myself, I really find, I try to find my mother in it, and I often think, how would it be for a day to come when she would be able to embrace me for who I am, no questions asked. And this is the film truly is based on this particular thing. But every time my mother embraces me, she leaves behind parts of me that don't really resonate with her.
Right.
She only embraces parts of me that she understands, parts of me that she can accept wholly. But I can feel it.
Yeah.
I'm such a spiritual person. I, I feel this whole sense of rigidity that comes in my body every time she holds me, and I keep telling her, I said, hug me properly, mama. You're not hugging me. You're not
Yeah.
holding me. And she's like, but I am. I said, you're not.
Mhm.
And this was really, what really started the journey of Sheer Korma is my mother's hug. And I mean, to someone else externally, it seems like, how can that really, sort of start the trajectory of a film of this sort? But truly, that was the genesis of the film. The genesis of the film was the way my mother embraces me, and it's really that. And interestingly enough, she happened to see the film 3 weeks ago, and she saw it with the entire cast and the crew, and with Shabana Azmi and Divya and Swara and everyone. And I was I was watching her through the corner in the dark cinema hall, and she was just weeping.
Yeah.
She was just weeping, and when the film got over, she was called on stage, and she was just embracing me, not saying much. On our way back home, on a drive back home, she held my hand, and she asked me this. She said, how are you so brave? And I don't have an answer to that. And many days later, I reached out to her and I said, I think I am brave because I see you being brave with me. In your journey of accepting me, I see you being brave day in and day out, and choosing love over everything else that you could have chosen. And that really is, that really is the DNA of who I am as a storyteller, to champion love and nothing else but love, because I genuinely feel we as a generation have forgotten how to love one another.
we
We, we
ah
seriously, I wish I could give you a giant hug right now, because
well,
I
I'm doing the same to you. Like, and the rich beauty of your desire shows through every frame of that film. It is so beautiful, and the level of transformation that I feel is possible for your audience who is going through a transformative a spiritual act, right? So the actors get to do it, but the person sitting in the dark watching is having that same visceral experience inside themselves at at every level, at the discomfort, at the level of love, at the level of faith, which
yeah,
you dealt with so beautifully in this film, so beautifully, and reintegrated gay people inside inside of faith culture, and I have friends, Dr. Avina Wadud, who's going around the world trying to say, it's okay for gay people to be gay. Allah gets
right.
it. so, so at the level of faith, even in this film, the level of transformation that is possible through a mother's love, and the fractional aspects of withholding it. I
Yeah,
think it's substantive that you can feel your mother embracing the parts of you that she can embrace. And I think it's spectacular because we can all feel it. Like when you know somebody's got you, you
you
know
can.
it.
Oh my God.
And
And I
if you're
long for that.
yeah,
I long for that.
yeah.
from
Yeah.
every fiber of my being, and it's interesting because I keep searching for my mother in so many women, so many women that I meet, and it's been it's been really interesting because every time I find a sense of pure unconditional love, by default I think of them as my mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a default that I have because as a child I was denied that love for a very long time,
Yeah.
and then when I came out I was again denied that love. So when you're when you're longing to be loved, when you're aching to be loved, you end up just giving love to everyone that you meet.
Yes.
That
Yes.
becomes your default, as
Yes.
queer people, I think that becomes our default. We have
Yes.
so much love to give, so much
Yeah.
love to give, oh my god.
Yes.
So, and
Yes.
I think to be able to then justify that in cinematic sensibility, it was quite a challenge, to be honest. I mean, it feels like such a simple film, and we shot the film in 3 days, to be honest with you. three
Yeah.
days that's all we had. That's the only money I could afford. um, and I mean, I keep saying this, it's unlike a lot of brown queer folks in America. They are far more privileged than I am. you
Mm.
know to, they have more access, they have more exposure, they have more opportunities. I do not have the same opportunities. I had to sell my car, I had to put my apartment on rent, I had to move in with my folks to be able to be a filmmaker, really,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
to be able to tell queer stories in a country which is so homophobic, in a country that is so against minorities. These are two identities that I can never give up on. I am as queer as I am a Muslim, and I hold that very dearly to myself because my faith is a part of who I am, Beth.
You have to
And
say that again and again and again. It's like I the like to get to be who you are and be loved by these unconditional sources that get created in the world, to
yeah,
be as gay as you are Muslim, to be
yeah,
as gay as I am Catholic, to be as
yeah.
like to like these ways that
Oh,
love and faith and motherhood, like that search for the divine, that like that divine unconditional flood of love, like that just knows you made me the way you made me, I am the way you made me. Now where's the love? Like where's the love jackpot? I want that.
yeah, give it to me.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I love that you are telling the story of telling the true story of how films get made and how film festivals get made. Like
Yeah.
I know, I know. In our first year, that we put the festival on our credit cards. Right? We wanted it so bad. We wanted to make that gift of love to San Francisco. We wanted to make that gift of love to gay people and gay filmmakers, and gay stories, because we know those stories are the stories of unconditional love. They challenge everything you're holding on to that says no, I love but only this much. Right? Like
Yeah.
love doesn't work like that. Love requires we get all the way, right,
Through and
all the
through.
way free, all the way open, all the way ourselves, right, all the way in alignment with our understanding of divinity. And your film does that, and I hope our festival, we're really committed to making space for people who don't get seen, who sell their cars to make their films. Like it is the nature of filmmaking too, to make that much love available takes
100%.
such great personal sacrifice. So I'm happy you're telling that truth. Tell me how you, in addition to like selling your car and starting
And putting my apartment on rent, living
and
with my
living with
parents
your
now.
mother. You're in a bunch of festivals. You've won with us as the
Yeah.
jury award. Um,
Yes. So
what?
grateful for that.
Well, it's love. I mean, it's just so obvious. The film is dripping with what we need in the world right now. It just is so. It's such a healing. 3 days.
Getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps as you're saying that because it it speaks to me at you speak to me on a soul level.
Yeah.
Because the reason I became a filmmaker, the reason I am a filmmaker, the reason I will continue to be a filmmaker is I feel with my films, with my stories, I can heal lives. I
Yes.
can put love back into our universe. Our universe needs love, Beth. Our universe needs more love than ever. Our universe needs more acceptance than ever. Our universe needs more healing than ever, more than ever before. And if I can be an instrument of that, and put myself in alignment with what the universe demands of me as a storyteller, I want to do that. I want to honor that. I want to honor my journey as um, as a champion of love and nothing else but that. And many a times I've also heard this whole a criticism about Qorma, saying that you could have made your film more film festival like. You could have made your film more independent, and you can have la 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 la, all these. Everyone has opinions, right?
Everyone has
Everyone
opinions.
has opinions.
They have
Uh,
to wipe those themselves.
I My only answer to them is that this is an expression of love.
Yes.
And love can be expressed in many forms, in many facets. There is no right way to it, and there is no wrong way to it. My journey to make films is not to win awards. My journey to make films is to bring healing into lives of that 4-year old Faraz,
Yeah.
who must be somewhere across the world, to be able to reach out to that Faraz and let that Faraz know that you're not alone.
Yeah. What I pray for your film is this deep amplification of its message, right? Let love show on every screen, everywhere. Let it stream, let it be seen, let it be celebrated, and let it heal. Let it be in people's living rooms. Let it be in the body of your mother on that. I've been that. I am a mother to three magnificent grown-up human creative beings, and I would be holding their hand like she did yours. Like it's such a treasure what you've made and what you've given us. I'm so excited about it. Now, say why you wanted to show it in San Francisco.
I have you'd be surprised. I've never been to San Fran ever in my life. I was supposed to be there in 2019. I was in LA for the screening of my earlier film called Sisak, which is India's first silent queer love story,
Oh,
and
I want
and
to
it
see
became.
it.
I will send you the link. I will send you the link. And it actually became the first ever Indian film to win 16 international awards. And so I was in LA. We had a screening for Snapchat in LA, and I was supposed to come to San Francisco because it's
You're in
San
LA.
Francisco. You have to be there, right? You have to. Unfortunately, I had to fly to Fargo for another festival. So then San Francisco never.
Okay, Fargo, San Francisco. I don't know.
Look at the spectrum, right? Look at the spectrum. Uh, so I ended up going to Fargo, and then of course back Canada and back home. But my film was supposed to premiere in 2020 at BFI London,
Uh,
and this is right before the pandemic broke out. And
yes.
I had my UK visa, I had my tickets, I had my hotels booked, everything. And India went into a lockdown a day prior to my flight to London.
Oh,
And even then I was determined. I said, I'm going to take this flight and I'm going to go to the UK. If the festival is happening, I'm going to go. I'm on my way to the airport, and I get an email saying that BFI has been cancelled.
oh,
So I had to take a U-turn, and I was just not able to cry. I was just not able. I think it took me a long time to grieve the
yeah.
fact that after working so hard, we were snatched away that opportunity of having a world premiere. So we decided to wait it out. I just felt the energies of the world were all over the place through 2020. It was not the right time to say I'm going to just put my child out. No, I didn't want to, and I thankfully, not having a biological birth happening, I could delay my birth, of this child. I could delay it being queer, right? You choose when you want to have a baby.
It's kind of a gorgeous thing.
Yeah. So I was into a labor for a very long time. I was in labor for more than a year, and then finally, when Frameline announced itself, and I was like, I mean, in my head, I was like, we're never going to get into Frameline, because Frameline is so selective about their films and they're so particular about the films.
Um,
Uh, Being a brown kid at heart, I was always told you have to dream small. These are the opportunities you'll get. You can't dream big, you want. So
I'm
that
just
started.
extracting that voice from your head.
Please take it away, take it away. So that started playing out at me. I ended up becoming my own saboteur until the point I said, you know what? I need to step out of my own way and just end it, and let's see what happens. We'll see whatever happens. We got selected at Frameline. We had a world premiere there, and right, I think the day we got selected at Frameline, 2 days later we got into your festival, and I was like, wow, that's a double whammy. San Francisco loves
San
us, right?
Francisco wants you,
I'm
darling.
like, now I need to find my way to San Francisco. Like, I need to, most importantly, I need to come see you.
I
I, I,
can't wait.
I was telling my mom about you, by the way,
Oh,
because my mom is on Facebook and she keeps reading all the comments, and she read your comments and she said, "Who is Beth? I've never heard. Is Beth your friend?" And I said, Mama, we just started interacting. Beth is a part of the SF Queer Film Festival, and she was like, and she said, "No, it seems like you're a long lost friend." I said, "I feel the same. We've never really spoken, but I feel, I feel it.
in the
And now,
fairy
I mean, now
godmother
it's just."
sense of the word. You're, yeah, no, I loved you from the first frame. I will love you every frame you ever make again. I love the set with which you operate. I love what it must be like on your set. I love the cast and the crew and the gorgeously articulated visuals in your films. I love that it's I love that the story is sourced in the search for the divine feminine, in this
Yeah,
way of knowing,
absolutely.
knowing unconditional love at every level. And
Always.
I want to see everything you ever make. I will, I want to, I will be the first one in my pajamas when you accept your Oscar saying, "Yay, I love you." I see
Fingers
great
crossed.
things for you. I'm thrilled you're a part of our festival. You are exactly the filmmaker we made the festival for. We
Thank
have
you.
such love for the stories you tell and the way that you tell them. You are
Thank
an amazing and magical force on the planet for us.
Thank
And genuinely, thank you. Thank you for finding us. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
We find each other, Beth. We find
Yeah,
each other. That's
we
how,
need each other. It's that depth
absolutely.
of need that you talked about, that like deep well of how do we, how do we do this in this world in this way?
And so little time, I keep telling people all the time, so little time. Life is in a constant state of flux. Life is in a constant, and I think we need to sort of make love an emergency in that sense. We need to make love an emergency, and we need to love each other more, and we need to hold each other more closely. Only then will we be able to flourish. Only then will we be able to create a world that heals itself. you know and like you said, I think I really see the divine feminine present in Sheer Korma. It
Yeah.
was also the present in my earlier film, and it continues to manifest itself through everything that I write. And that possibly comes from the fact that my journey with myself has been so healing, Beth. I mean, I was not this person. I had to become this person when I started aligning myself to the universe. When the universe asked me, and I agreed to become a channel for the universe. And I think that sort of work is very different work, because one recognizes it, wherever you are in the world, and you see it and you feel it in in every pore of your being. And I feel that is the legacy I want to really leave behind, because we're not going to be here forever. We're here today, we won't be here tomorrow, but what will continue to remain is our stories.
I am so
Absolutely.
proud of you. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of our festival for having you
Love it.
and for our jury that awarded you this
Yes, I
amazing
grateful, very
opportunity to
grateful.
talk with you.
I really wanted to really, before we wrap up, I want to put this message out. Um, the reason I decided to be a part of San Francisco Queer Film Festival was it's the first year. I understand how important beginnings are. They're
Mm.
very imperative to all of us. And I, with my film, in my own humility, I wanted to be a part of this first step because I know how important first steps are. And something kept telling me that there is a lot of love at this festival, the present, and I could feel the love coming in through and through. And i I was trying to find ways to make myself physically present there. Unfortunately it could not happen, but then I got my acquaintances to end up there, Anjali and all the
Yes,
wonderful people.
beautiful.
Yeah,
You
they
were
all showed
well
up.
represented.
Yeah, they all showed up for love. They really showed up for love. But I want to thank the jury, and I want to thank Amir, and I want to thank you and every other soul associated with this festival for creating an opportunity, creating a platform for voices like mine and for countless other voices that are going to join this festival in the years to come. And I feel you're doing God's work because this with this festival you will be putting so much of love, so much of healing, so much of togetherness back into the universe. And I will always be available for anything at all that you need from me as a source of love. I'm always there, always a message away, always a call away. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and I admire, I appreciate, and I see you. Thank you.
I'll see you again. Bye, my
Bye.
love.
Bye.
Bye for now.